To this video on tuples. So what we're going to see here is another one of the inbuilt data structures in Python. Alright, so let's say you have created an application that has some users and some administrators. So usually the list of administrators might be fixed, or you may not want that list of administrators to be as easily updatable as, let's say, for example, the list of users is. So think of something like a list, but that which cannot be updated once it has been initialized. That brings us to the idea of tuple. Let's take an example. Okay, let's say you have admins. I'll just create that as the name of the variable, and we want admins to be a tuple, right? So let's say we just wrap this inside of parentheses. Let's say we have some 3-4 admins, all right? So I'll just put some random names: Alex, Bob, and Celine. Let's say fine, these are our 3 admins. Alright, so first let's go ahead and print out, we'll print out some things. We'll print out the admins and the important property called the type of admins, right? So when we run this thing, let's just see what we expect to get. Admins has indeed printed out all whatever is mentioned inside of this tuple, and you can see that this prints the class tuple. Alright, so what really is tuple? Isn't tuple just list? Well, no, tuples is not list. Okay, tuples cannot they are said to be immutable objects, which means you can't add something to tuples. Let's say we try to append something, so we just try to do admins dot append. Well, there is no function like admins dot append, just like there was for list. All right, let's say we try to append this fellow called Diaz, or let's just try to say admins dot there was remove. Let's try to remove Bob. If we run this, so we get the first error saying that okay, there is no function called append. Let's comment this out, and we will still get an error saying that there is no attribute called remove. So tuples do not usually, tuples not meant to be used that way, that you can add elements or delete elements. Ideally, once you have declared a tuple, it's like an immutable data. It's like an immutable, data structure. You should use it as it was declared right over here. All right. That being said, obviously there are some tweaks. You can change some members of the tuples provided they themselves are changeable. For example, if the list becomes a member of the tuple, then you can actually change that list, because list is a mutable data structure. But we will not go into that, because we are seeing the basics of what a tuple is and how that is used. So we cannot append, we cannot remove. Let's try to update some value. Let's say we want to do admins of 0. So before updating, let's talk about indexing and slicing. All right, cool. So remember that indexing in Python begins from 0, and tuple is an indexed data structure, which means that Alex sits at the index 0, Bob is at index 1, and Celine is at the index 2. So if we print out admins of 0, we would need to print it out actually. If we print out admins of 0, we will get the first element, which is Alex, and we get that. Similarly, if you did a 1 over here, you would get Bob. So indexing wise, it is identical as list or strings. It's basically the same. Now, what if we talk about slicing? So remember, slices are basically sublists, right? So they are parts of your data structure. It could be a string, it could be a list. All right. So in this case, let's say we just wanted to print Bob and Celine. All right. So we would do print something like admins. Now remember, from the slicing in lists, you want to start at index 1, and then you want to go till index 2, right? So you might put a 2 here, and you want to go in steps of 1, which means you want each and every element, right? So you do a 1 2 1, and you might expect this to give you that hey, the start is at 1 Bob, the end is at 2 Celine, and the step is 1. But remember that this stop is actually exclusive, so you will need to put a 3 over there, because you wanted 2, and you do get Bob and Celine. You can see that this also results to you in a tuple. All right, which means if you were interested in finding out, let's say, the type of this subtuple, a section of the tuple, that will still remain tuple. Okay, just like a section of the list remains a list. So this is about indexing. Now let's very quickly see if we what happens if we try to update a particular value. So let's say we try to set, we are not trying to add or subtract, but we're just trying to update an element. All right. So let's say advance of 0, which is currently Alex. Let's say, we want to update it to some other guy, like so let's say Albert. And you can see right over here itself, the IDE is sort of saying that tuples don't support item assignment, but still, that's for the sake of completeness. Let's say you're not working on a sort of this sophisticated IDE, but you're just working with the normal Python text editor. Then you can just print out admins after this. If the assignment was indeed allowed, you should be getting Albert, Bob, and Celine. If it is not allowed, you should be getting an error because of line number 12. And you can see that you get an error saying that tuple object does not support item assignment. So it means this is also not valid. So basically, once you have declared a tuple, try to, think of it like this, that it's a very final type of a data structure. It's a final variable. Once you have declared it, there is no going back. All right. That being said, there are some tweaks and all you can do, but it's not intended. That's not the intended purpose of the tuple. All right. So with this, I would like to end this video over here, and in the next video, we are going to see dictionaries, which is a very important concept because it helps us connect a key with a value. All right. That's it for this video. Thank you.